I would like to give a big thank you to all the persons who have been sharing my videos, and a big thank you to all the persons who have subscribed. Thank you so much for your support, and I am looking forward to sharing a lot more with you. Now, as I said in our last episode, today we're going to talk about mommy's repetitive actions that were a part of her Alzheimer's journey. Now, one thing we realized is that she washed her feet very often. It's as if she had an obsession with washing her feet. So, and I'm not exaggerating, sometimes she would wash her feet like every 10 minutes. She would go to the bathroom, wash her feet, come back out, sit in front of the television, which was her favorite thing to do at that time. And she loved to watch game shows. So The Price is Right was one of her favorite shows. But in spite of the fact that her favorite show may be on TV, it's as if she had this tick that her feet had to be washed. Then she washed it, then she went back to what she was doing, then she got up again and she would wash her feet, and then she went back to what she was doing, and guess what? That would go on for maybe 2 hours or so. And even if there's a speck of dirt or she feels that she stepped on something, that action would go on, sometimes for 2 hours, sometimes that's what she did for the entire day, just back and forth, back and forth. Then there was a washing of the hands. So she became very obsessed with having her hands and feet clean, and that became a concern for us. However, I must tell you, there's nothing that we could have done to prevent her from doing that, because she had a genuine concern that her hands and her feet were dirty. So we had to just, I guess, tolerate that part. Anytime she was in that mood where she had to wash her hands or her feet, we had to just allow that time to pass until she moves into some other phase. Now, another thing we observed is that she had challenges sleeping at night. So there were nights when she would move to the bedroom, then to the kitchen, back to the living room, and that became the night's event. And it's as if that part of her brain that is supposed to shut down just did not work. So there were nights when she would just spend the night pacing the floor, from the kitchen to the bathroom to the living room, back to her bedroom, then back to the kitchen, and that was the night's event. So maybe for 7 to 8 hours, mommy would just be pacing the place, and there was nothing we could have done during those early times, because as I said, we didn't know what was happening. So it wasn't as if we had taken her to the doctor, there was no diagnosis. But by observing her, we realized that at this point there was a need to get her medically examined. So those are the two things that we observed, that whenever she's in that frame of mind, there was nothing we could have done to control those repetitive movements or those repetitive actions. Now, as a caregiver, those things can be extremely challenging, especially when we had to go to sleep, prepare for work, knowing that we could not get her to fall asleep. So sometimes we would get up in the mornings, in the wee hours of the mornings, just to check on her to see how she was doing. Sometimes by that time she'd be exhausted and fall asleep. Sometimes, guys, we would find that mommy would be on the veranda 2 o'clock in the mornings because in her mind it is day. So there were challenges that came with her not being able to sleep at night. But in our next episode, we will talk to you about some of the things we tried and discuss whether or not those things were effective. And if you want to share your comments, you're free to do so. So thank you for joining me for this episode. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next week.